All right, folks, welcome on back here this Wednesday, March 24th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time here. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Very nice time with the, or very good timing, I should say, Rich, with the link for class coming up ahead. Great to see Taz, Lewis, Stefan, who I want to give a quick shout out to actually in just a moment. Stefan and Leda, I saw kill it together on a trade. Great to see Kathleen, James, Leda, Ron, Will, Mike. Great to see everybody there. And for all of us on social media, folks, welcome on back on YouTube Live and Facebook. Hey, we have a lot to talk about on all sorts of different ends here, right? We have class ahead. I know that Fausto actually has a webinar of his own coming up through Bookmap. So we had posted the link earlier. I know that Rich will post that. I'm sure like once I hop into class and just get ready for that. But I want to start with one thing and one thing only, because I'm the first to admit that I'm wrong. Oftentimes for stocks that make these big extraordinary pops up in pre-market, or well, at least after the market open, at least, and we'll see a stock make a big move up. It'll start dumping back down, and at that point, we normally don't see it make a big move up. In fact, it ends up dumping much back down lower, heading into that afternoon. If not that afternoon, well, the following morning. So we had a member on YouTube here. I'll actually name him. He goes by at least the initials that I see on the user list. RJF, I always refer him to as. He called this out heading into the afternoon on yesterday. And during this meeting, I was like, listen, this is the same thing over and over again. I don't think this is going to make a big move. Stocks that make these big pops in pre-market, they'll dump back down. If they're not holding near their highs, like heading into this time of the day or after, they're not worth it. I'm telling you, you're just wasting your time. And I was pretty blunt with how I said it too. So I'm the first to admit that I'm wrong. Well, probably like 5 or so minutes after I said that and moved on to another stock, just started exploding. So at that point, I had said, let's just be careful here, folks. It could just dump right back down after. And the thing just kept going. So while I have the time, because we do have class ahead here, we have class at 3 p.m. Eastern time, phase 2, the final class at least less than 4 ahead. I want to actually bring up what we nickname as level 4 Bookmap. I want to do like a little analysis of this move. So you know what? I'm the first to admit that I'm wrong. And with that, I'll actually throw the little cherry on top here. I'll do a nice little trade review here from yesterday at least. Now heading into this afternoon, right now today, we're obviously not going to watch it. Ended up gapping down, heading into the after hours into the pre-market this morning, broke down much lower. So it made that exact move, but not before it ended up making a huge run. So I hope that you folks get to see my screen here. It should be the Bookmap program level 4, as we nickname it. Heading into 2:30, there was a big iceberg order on the ask. I mean, it looks like a stack of them right off 645, 650, and the VWAP there as well. So that really is a huge point of resistance. That would be pretty much where I would anticipate the pop and drop. Not as if I saw Bookmap at the time, but, just while I was looking at it, that was roughly around the area that I was saying, hey, it wouldn't shock me if it makes a squeeze up, but then dumps back down. Well, we ended up seeing this just blow the roof off of 650 here and flew right on up to 7, broke up towards 750. Now, once we finished up the afternoon meeting here, at least, we ended up calling this out, of course. How can we not at this point? Myself, at least, after kind of not being wrong, but, seeing a stock make such an extraordinary move, and one that I didn't really think was going to happen right away, if at all, I was a little bit more uncomfortable trying to jump in. So I was watching this go up and up and up, and by 3 o'clock, I was watching this make the test off of $8. So at first, once it ended up testing this iceberg off of 8, this darker orange line off of $8, you could start to see a lot of green coming in, at least on the time and sales on your platform, on my platform. And then here on Bookmap, this 26K print just about filled at $8. So with that type of buying, I was hoping to see a higher high, and out of nowhere, this ended up taking off. So I was a little reluctant, but I ended up keeping my order set over 8, a stop limit order to buy. And thankfully, it filled me, and I ended up getting it on the trade. It was almost like a scalp. I ended up getting like 50 or 55 cents. I ended up closing. It was right over 850, I think. And then it ended up going a little bit higher too, I think, right? Topped off all the way up at 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Pretty much just about 10. And then from there, closed back down. I mean, whatever price it closed at. But, to see a stock go from 650 by 2:30 in the afternoon here all the way up, and more so than anything, right? I'm going to bring Bookmap back down now. But more so than anything, it's after seeing a stock already like pop and then drop in pre-market, or at least after the market open. So that was completely unexpected, completely against what we typically see happen. So, hey, I want to give a shout out once again to our member RJF on YouTube there. He called it out at the time. It ended up running up well. I hope he killed it. So, hey, for right now, this afternoon here, it's down like 40%. So I hope that you didn't swing it, but I hope you end up catching the wave heading into yesterday afternoon. We're probably going to keep this on our side list for tomorrow, for Friday. Given the range, we'd love to see a second little squeeze up, but I'm not going to hold my breath for it, right? So we'll see what else is out there, folks. Let's go from top to bottom now. I wanted to just go from the gainers to the losers list with class ahead. At number one, and I know this was halted on the way up a couple of times here, now halted on the way down, HPR. I don't know what the news is on this stock. I don't have the chance to check news right now, folks. I apologize on that, but looks like it got halted once, twice, 3 times on the way up, and then now once on the way down. So typically when we see a stock get halted on the way down, it's usually a wrap. It's game over. But, I'll keep this on our watch list for right now just to check. It has really thin liquidity on the book, I'd imagine, there too. Let me actually run this gainers list for right now. I want to check to see the spread, or not the spread, the float. So 2.28 million share float, that's really low. So be careful on this type of move, folks. It's already up 118%, and with it being halted on the way down, like I said before, that usually spells game over for the stock. But we'll put it on our watch list, hence the name watch list. We'll watch it reopen, see what it does, and if the order book thins that or fills out a bit more, perhaps, then at that point we'll look to try and trade it. Oh geez, oh my goodness, this scared the crap out of me right here. Not as if I'm in this Hall of Fame stock, but this is the warrants. So I saw like $1.70. I'm like, there's no way like something like crazy happened right now, right? So we'll check in with Hall of Fame, the equity, coming up in a second or two here. I see it number 5 on the gainers list. WKEY though, this ended up making a huge run heading into the early afternoon. Ended up making like a big pop, got halted once. Moved up, and I'll tell you, it kind of looks like it got halted on the way down, but maybe not. Nope, didn't get halted on the way down, just a huge shake. So, came pretty close, I'd imagine, just based on this one candle alone, this one bar. Given how strong it was on the way up, given the afternoon move, the volume, we're certainly going to at least keep this on our list for right now. And, hopefully it ends up making another pop. Ended up making a huge spike up once again. So this daily chart, it's hard to use this daily chart even to your advantage, because unless if you're banking on the high here of like whatever high this is, 1849 just about, unless if you're banking on that acting as the resistance, and you can't really on a trade like this. So I'll tell you, you're wrong with that thinking, but otherwise it's just hard to use this daily chart. Otherwise, yeah, for that matter, we'll keep this on our list, see if it ends up, re-breaking above resistance off of 19, moving back up to 20. APTO. So this is one that was up big in pre-market, ended up making like a bit of a dip, and then took off right away after the market opened up, or at least a few minutes after. Ended up kind of blasting off from 550, ended up building this trend steadily up towards the high off of like 715, 720. You could see there. Ended up making for that second win type of move, bounce off of like 580-ish. From there, though, at this point, again, this is the same type of stock, right? Like ended up making such a big move a couple of times throughout the day today, trading 167 million shares. I would not expect this type of stock to, make a sudden breakout higher heading into the close. So we're going to avoid this for right now. If it ends up making a sudden takeoff here, then I'll certainly reconsider. Hall of Fame. About time this actually has a down day. So, for right now, unless if you could short it, I'd probably move on to another stock. It's trading so much volume right now. So is it possible it can make a bounce? I guess, if you do really well on this stock, I'm sure you're going to keep, a personal eye on it yourself. But I want to see if there's any other opportunities first before I potentially jump back to this. Maybe I'll keep this on our side list for right now. Just come back to it at the end. This one's dumping back down too. Wouldn't shock me if this breaks lower heading into the close. Rail kind of thin volume. Fang, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's Fang. I'm thinking Fang. I'm thinking like ETF there. This one though, Phoenix New Metal, or New Metal Unlimited. Pretty flat here. Just gonna pass. Nice cheapie though. Good spread, good liquidity, I think, otherwise. All right, Dolphin, and then so the news that came out, it was pretty interesting. It was the agreement between Dolphin Entertainment and then Hall of Fame. So they're kind of tied together now, it seems, at this point. So check back on Hall of Fame. Check back on Dolphin. You tell me, folks, pretty similar, right? So unless if you could short it, I just move on. At this point, definitely keep them on your weekly, your daily, radar. Check back tomorrow on them, Friday, next week, etc. All right, BBIG. I thought this was another like NFT type of stock, or Bitcoin, or I think it's NFT type of move, but yeah, it's still kind of like dropping off there. ONCY, I thought this was pre-market, or no, this was after the open. This was actually yesterday, and then it was also this morning here. So we ended up catching the bounce on this trade. We ended up calling it out off the breakout, at least off of 375. Once it ended up breaking higher from this, peak point here, ended up making a nice, big move. Let's see. The market's kind of dipping back down here, folks. I mean, the Dow is up 150, but kind of slumping off heading into the afternoon. So I don't know what we'll find across the gainers or losers list as far as like a familiar name, like one that moves with the market. Just kind of skimming here right now at this point, seeing if there's anything like familiar popping up. The LIVX stock, this is one that we've been calling out like at this point, like the whole week. If I'm not mistaken, we started calling this out on Monday, and it didn't make the biggest move Monday, but then yesterday it made a really nice run up, and then today, I mean, it's shortable. It dropped off after the open, ended up making a bounce roughly from like 585 here or 580. Bounced pretty nicely up towards 675, and yeah, for right now, this remains a great stock to watch. I mean, hey, right now it acts like a great short. If you were to short this below this dip point here, below 650, marching down pretty nicely. You know what? I'm kind of selling myself on putting this on our list. So we'll kind of put this LIVX right now on the main watch list. I think that's just about it on the gainer side. I don't really see any other familiar names. Folks, if there's anything that you see that's like really moving up nicely that I just kind of skipped over or perhaps was even like ignorant of, then just let me know. Type it in the chat board. I want to hop over to the losers list here. Like I said before, we have class finishing up here today, 3:05 Eastern time. So we got just about like 23 minutes. So top of the losers list, the BNTC trade there. TCAT, all these like, NFT type stocks. I'd imagine like YVR, I'm sure will run down at some point. Yep, right here. All right, so let's get back to TME. So I started the meeting off because I wanted to show exactly how wrong I was on the BNTC from yesterday, that run up. But I was going to start off with time here, right? TME, what was it again? 10-cent music. So there was some news out this what was it, late morning, early afternoon on this trade, and it was actually a few different companies that 10 cents related to. So let me actually pull this up for right now. I said before I don't have the time to check the news, but it's actually right in front of me, at least for the TME trade. So TME trading lower, weakness appears related to reports of potential antitrust action against parent company Tencent Holdings, as well as broader Chinese market weakness and tensions amid China and Western nations. So that would explain why, at least in terms of like, weakness among the China market, why stocks like IQ, if I'm not mistaken, HUYA, if I'm not mistaken, Billy, all these stocks, at least from my experience, being here in the mornings and afternoons, make moves off of certain news, over the years. But I've noticed that all of these have been affiliated with the China market, so they all seem to be dropping off, really nicely. Billy, myself, I wouldn't look to day trade given the price. I just try and keep under like 40, $50 for the most part. But otherwise, I mean, hey, it looks like a nice short heading into the afternoon. Thin liquidity on the order book. I like that IQ trade. That ended up making like one of the most beautiful drop-offs like I've really ever seen. And that's coming off of the PAAS trade, right? We talked about that even in class earlier this morning. We actually saw this heading into the afternoon just yesterday, right? This type of drop-off here. It's hard to like find a stock or any type of symbol that maintains that exact type of slope or move. So, just going back there to IQ from this morning, whew, Doesn't get much better than that, really. So for the afternoon, definitely TME, definitely IQ. Taz here in our live trading room, picking up 29 cents right now on X. He was short. He was in at 2028 as the entry. Ooh, dropping off nicely here, Taz. Nice trade. So hey, X is a stock that moves with the market. If you do well on X day to day or at least week to week, then why don't you keep it in mind for the afternoon? I certainly say that to Taz, and as well as Taz, everyone else. But there could be a lot of stocks that will be moving with the market here. We ended up seeing. Oh, and at the same time, how about this? I'm just adding two and two together right now. It's like the heck, Neo. And I'm sure I would have found this anyway as we go down the losers list, but NIO is a Chinese company. So with that in mind, NIO will add to our watch list here. Great liquidity on the order book, consistently tight spread. Rebroke below 37 probably about like a few minutes ago, if not just now. Oof, VIP's taking a hit here today too. This one's got a little thin of an order book here, so like we have a pretty good list already. At this point, I'd love to just like be picky and just choose. So hey, VIPs, if you want to go for it, go for it. But I'd rather focus on like the IQ, the Neo, the time trade. I call it time. It's going to be 10 cent, but TMA. So if Viacom get crushed earlier. Man, MVIS trade from earlier today. I had some fun on this. I could say that now. I ended up taking, it was like a 13-cent hit on it earlier. Then I ended up catching the squeeze on the way up here, up from 1380. But after I stayed away from, this is like a really great stock to keep in mind. Day to day, week to week, great sideless stock. So I don't know what affiliation this has with the China market, if it has any, but obviously moving at the lows here heading into the afternoon. So making that same exact type of move as the others for right now. So yeah, definitely Microvision. Otherwise, I kind of nickname it Mavis. You'll probably hear that from me. But MVIS definitely will put on our watch list for the afternoon, dropping off pretty nicely still. FINV, sideless stock, a stock we ended up doing really well on. I think it was from last week, right? Popped. It was probably like early last week. We ended up trading this back on the 11th. Oh, just about 2 weeks ago from tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, getting back to this, hey, it's kind of flat right now. Not a whole lot going on here heading into the afternoon, just down big. Keep it in mind maybe for tomorrow or maybe for Friday perhaps, but otherwise not a whole lot there. XPEV along with NEO, how can I not, right? If NEO is dropping off and we're putting NEO on our list, then I'd imagine we kind of focus on XPEV, and I don't know if LI is a China company, but ended up dropping off pretty nicely as well. All right, so I guess XPEV I'll kind of add to our list, maybe LI as well too. Just kind of all of those EV stocks, it seems like. Ken on SLGG, another good sideless stock, dropping off nicely. If you can get the shares to short it, go on ahead. Greg points out, yes, LI is a Chinese company, Chinese EV-based company. Cool. All right, so that definitely gives us good reason at least to put that on our list. All right, folks, for anyone on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, if there's anyone else that you or anything else that you would want me to look at, call out, type it in the chat board. Take a quick look on Benzinga Pro. Current time is 2:48, making actually pretty good use of time here. I don't really see much else here. Any other familiar names? REI is a cheap stock. Looks like that just broke a high earlier. I don't know what the chart looks like, so maybe crap. Ooh, actually pretty good. Nice pop, actually. You're like right before 2:30, so this was probably creeping up the radar here, and at the highs right now. So Ring Energy. I don't know what the news is, and I'll pull a Fausto here. I don't really care. I'm going to put this on our list. So the REI stock definitely going to make the cut. Good liquidity on the book. Looks like there's an order on the ask at 280, but 275, there's a lot of volume traded off that price from the breakout. You could see just from the volume spike alone. We just covered that in the, we just covered that in two classes. The last two classes we just taught, right here. This big spike of volume right off 275, you could see. All right, so that's all I had really for the most part. Looking at the loser's side there, if there's anything breaking lower. Lizzie down. Let's see. Nah, it's like a spotty chart. Not a whole lot going on really with the order book. All right, I'll tell you, folks. I think that just about does it. I don't really see much else, and that's fine. I mean, we have a really good list. So in total, there's nothing really, I even put on the quote unquote side list, right? I didn't write anything down. Maybe the Hall of Fame, I think, was the only thing I said I would check back in with at the end, if I'm not mistaken. Just given, I mean, it has great volume on the book and great range day to day to day for as much as it's dropping today. Maybe we'll see a bit of a squeeze up. Maybe. You know what? I'm going to hold off on it for right now. I mean, if you do really well on the stock, then definitely keep it in mind. But otherwise, I think we have a really good list to begin. The REI, that last one, I think we're going to put on the top. That one, I think, so far, at least the way it looks, definitely looks the most promising off a possible breakout. So for right now, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stocks to work with so far heading into the afternoon, folks. For all of us on social media, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, feel free to join us. Go right down to the link on the banner below to sign up for our trial to our trading room. Aside from that, for all of us there live, for all of our students at least that have access to the Phase 2 curriculum, I look forward to seeing you in class coming up in just about 10 or 15 minutes. And then for those of you not joining us in class, best of luck trading these stocks heading into the market close. Take care.